أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على نبينا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Etiquettes with the Qur'an. Today we will be discussing the difference between the 7 ahruf and the 7 qira'ats. Before we move to speaking about the etiquettes of reciting the Qur'an, let us speak a little bit about the preservation, codification, and standardization of its script. As already stated, the Qur'an was revealed piecemeal to the Prophet Muhammad over a period of 23 years. Every time God deemed it appropriate to reveal more to him, he commanded the angel Gabriel to deliver those verses or chapters to him. Not being compiled in his lifetime, perhaps due to constantly waiting for revelation to end, the pages recorded in his presence were brought together in one place during the reign of his successor, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. The latter completed his campaign before his death and passed its care on to his successor, Umar ibn Khattab. Before Umar died, he bequeathed the care of the original codex to his daughter Hafsa, widow of the Prophet Muhammad, God's blessing and peace on him. On one occasion during the life of the Prophet, Umar ibn Khattab overheard the companion Hisham ibn Hakim reciting Surah Al-Furqan. According to Umar, I listened to his recitation, and he shockingly was reciting using many letters that the Messenger of God had not taught me. After eagerly waiting for Hisham to finish his prayer, Umar challenged him, demanding that he accompany him to God's messenger to corroborate the claim that Hisham had learned to recite the surah in this way from the messenger himself. Upon their arrival, after asking Umar to release Hisham, the Prophet asked Hisham to recite. When he did, the Prophet, God's blessing and peace on him, responded, "This is how it was revealed." He then asked Umar to recite. After completing his recitation, he told Umar, "And this is also how it was revealed." The Qur'an was revealed in 7 iterations, so recite whichever of them is easiest. The 7 iterations, or 7 ahruf, would feature greatly in the controversies resulting in Caliph Uthman's standardization of the Quranic script. According to Imam al-Bukhari, Muslim, and others, the Prophet, God's blessing and peace on him, said, "Gabriel taught me according to 1 iteration, so I insisted that he give me more until he reached 7. Imam al-Tirmidhi reports that upon meeting Gabriel on one occasion, the Prophet said to him, "O Gabriel, I have been sent to an unlettered nation. Among them is the child, the servant, the wakeful elder, and the old woman." Gabriel responded, "Then let them read the Qur'an upon 7 iterations." After encountering strife among learners of the Qur'an, which deeply troubled him, the trusted companion Hudayfa ibn Yaman came to the Caliph Uthman and said, "Catch this nation before it differs over the book of God in the way the Jews and Christians do." As a consequence, Uthman organized a campaign to standardize the Quranic script, make copies, and deliver those copies to the various centers of the growing empire. Each copy would be accompanied by an expert reciter who taught the locals how to properly read it. The Codex of Abu Bakr, upon which Uthman's standardization was based, incorporated the 7 ahruf, which originally caused misunderstanding between Umar and Hisham. The scribes who recorded the Quran in the Prophet's presence were both from Mecca and Medina, meant that Abu Bakr's codex contained the distinct script identified with both cities. To overcome this stylistic confusion, Uthman told the 3 Meccan members of the 4-man committee burdened with copying the codex, "Whenever you differ with Zayd ibn Thabit, write it down in the tongue of the Quraysh. That is because the Quran was revealed in their tongue." Unlike the 3 Meccan copyists, Zayd was from the Ansar of Medina. Uthman's instruction was to adopt only the script standardized among the Quraysh in Mecca. If the Quran was revealed in the tongue of the Quraysh, this also means that whatever was meant by the 7 ahruf was also directly related to their tribal dialects, and not those of the Ansar, nor of other Arab tribes. From here, Caliph Uthman proceeded with his standardization. In the process, he omitted 6 of the 7 ahruf or iterations and preserves only 1. This would later be referred to as the Uthmani script, al-Rasm al-Uthmani, and his codex would be referred to as al-Mushaf al-Imam. And to avoid further confusion, he ordered the burning of all personal copies of the Qur'an, an order which eventually won mass approval, though with some resistance. The original codex was returned to Hafsa, mother of the believers, until the reign of Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, who commandeered the codex and had it destroyed, arguing that a sufficient number of copies had been made. He also expressed fear that the codex of Abu Bakr might become a source of future strife and an object of worship. The story of the 7 ahruf remains a mystery to this very day, inasmuch that scholars are unable to definitively prove what the Prophet, God's blessing and peace on him, meant when he said, this Qur'an was revealed in 7 iterations, or ahruf. There are up to 40 different opinions about its meaning. And in this sense, the 7 ahruf hadith can be classified as allegorical, inasmuch that only God can provide clarity on their meaning. The ahruf is a plural of the word harf, makes it seem that early Arabs were allowed to alter the pronunciation of certain letters in conformity with their dialects. This understanding is supported by the fact that the clan of Hudayl were said to have struggled to pronounce the guttural H or Ha, leading them to pronounce hatta'in as atta'in. Regardless of what the true meaning of the 7 ahruf is, what is clear is that they are not synonymous with the 7 modes of recitation or 7 qira'at. Conflating the 7 qira'at with the 7 ahruf started after a 3rd century Iraqi scholar from Baghdad known as Abu Bakr ibn Mujahid wrote a book entitled The 7 Regarding the Modes of Recitation, As-Sab'atu fi Qira'at. In his book, he featured the renditions of 7 famous reciters whose readings were transmitted diffusely, while scholars of the Qur'an have stated that the number of valid modes of recitation happen to be higher than 7, perhaps even up to 10. There are also non-diffuse, irregular, and fabricated modes of recitation. The most important trait in determining a valid reading, however, is diffuse transmission, not whether or not the rules of Arabic grammar allows for a particular reading. This concludes today's presentation. I look forward to seeing you again in our next episode as we learn some of the basic etiquettes of Quranic recitation. Have a blessed day, and don't forget to support Zaytuna College. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.